on the board. And I'd like to start off by thanking you for participating in today's webinar, the Healthiest Workplaces in the World webinar series, featuring Lan Spar Bank from Denmark. Let me start with a few housekeeping calls. So all participant lines have been placed on mute in order to keep background noise at a minimum. However, we will still be able to take your questions. There are two ways to ask a question. The first way is to raise your hand using the hand icon on the left side of your toolbar. If you select this icon, I will unmute your audio line so you can ask the question via the phone or your headset. If you plan to ask a question over the phone line, be sure you entered your audio PIN number when you called in, or you may enter that number now. You may also type your question in the question portion of your toolbar, and we will read your question to the group. We will try to answer as many questions as possible prior to the end of the session. Please note that no portion of these slides should be reproduced without the written express consent of the presenter. The event will offer 1.0 ACSM continuing education credits. All participants at your site are eligible to receive the CEC. Following this session, you will receive an email with the CEC information as well as a link to a brief survey. Please just take a few moments to complete the survey. Every survey response is reviewed and used to plan future offerings. And as a reminder, this event is being presented by the International Association for Worksite Health Promotion, which is an ACSM affiliate society. And the IAWHP is the first global association dedicated to advancing the global community of worksite health promotion practitioners. So I encourage you to learn more about IAWHP, its benefits and programs online at iawhp.org, or interact with other professionals online by becoming a member of the LinkedIn group or on our Facebook page. So I'm really pleased that today we have Lan Spar Bank and Keld Thornæs as a speaker, as the bank won the Global Healthy Workplace Award in the SME category, that is the small and medium-sized category. As you can see here on your slide, I will just briefly introduce the awards program and just to put this into context and then hand over to Keld. So the awards program is really the first truly global program which promotes employee health and well-being, and at the same time demonstrates its business value. And I should mention here that the criteria are pretty closely aligned to the World Health Organization Healthy Workplace Framework. And it's a pretty, as you will see from Keld's presentation, it's a pretty comprehensive model. It covers more than individual health and well-being. It looks at the environment, both physical and psychosocial, and also looks at the role of the enterprise within the community. I should also mention that the World Health Organization in no way is officially linked to this program and doesn't officially endorse it. So I just so you're clear on that. So the awards program is comprised, or I should say the awards program is comprised of the Healthy Workplace Awards, as I just mentioned. It's in three categories, as you can see here: multinational, large, and small and medium-sized. And in addition, it's not just an awards program and people go home. It's really a year-long communication plan. So with like webinars we're doing right now, seminars, we're heavily involved in social media, could be newsletters as well, and reports. So in terms of really sharing and leveraging the great programs that are out there so others can learn from them, not just with their own environment or own country, but really across countries and across borders. That's really our goal. And also, that's linked to the actual Global Summit and the seminar program. The next slide, please, Keld. Yep. Thanks. So here you can see who's behind it. So basically, I am one of the co-directors. My organization is International Health Consulting, and iGenius in London is a world community of social entrepreneurs. It's a huge global network, and so I've been hugely helpful and productive in this process. And as you can see here, with a pretty robust advisory board, the IAWHP has played a great role, and I'd like to use the opportunity to thank them for that. Especially George Pfeiffer, the president, and also Nico Pronk, been very involved. Other organizations, the ILE is the International Organization of Employers. It's the umbrella organization of all national employer federations. So a very big network, global network of employers. The IAWHP, the International Institute for Health Promotion at American University, and Bob Karsh, the European Network for Workplace Health Promotion, IAWHP HERO, Health Enhancement Research Organization. A lot of you probably know HERO, and we've been working with them every year now on global seminars each fall around the forum. People on Aid, which covers the workers and employees of NGOs, and Concern Worldwide is also an NGO. And we're really thankful to have the input and the support of all of these organizations. The next slide. A couple more words on the awards program and the process, and then I'll hand over to Keld. Here you can see the winners from previous years. So now we're in our 4th year, and this year, as I mentioned earlier, Lan Spar Bank was the winner of the small and medium-sized enterprise category. And the way it works, get applications from all over the world. There's 5 judges from 5 different continents looking at these applications. A short list is developed and then discussed, and then finally 2 finalists come out for each category. They are invited, and you see them here. They are all invited to come to the location where the summit is, and this year was in the beautiful city of Florianopolis in Brazil. And on site, the companies are further assessed in terms of their presentation, and the judges also have the opportunity to ask questions on site, which is great. I think it's a really good opportunity. So nobody knows who won the award because it hasn't been decided yet, and it's going to be decided on site. Of course, the written application is the bulk of the of the application percentage, but also the oral presentation and the fielding of the questions also plays a role. I'm sure you can recognize a number of names of the bigger companies here, but of course the small and medium-sized enterprises are not as well known, but they just as well run perfect, or not perfect, but excellent programs, I should say, and you will hear now from Keld. And just one more word, as you can see here from some companies, you do see some household names, but at the same time, from countries like from Lebanon, in the past 2 years, they had a company, and quote unquote, unfortunately, they came up twice as a runner-up, but it was an excellent program, very involved and charismatic CEO coming to both London and Shanghai with making the runner-up position. So, I will hand over now to Keld, but I'll introduce him first. So, Keld Thornæs is the Executive Vice President in Lan Spar Bank, and he's responsible for all aspects of HR, human resources, and corporate communication. He's responsible for promoting and implementing the program Bank in Motion, which he will be talking about, in strong cooperation with the Health and Safety Committee, the Corporation Committee, and line managers in the bank. And finally, just so you know, Keld has a business background in HR. So first of all, thanks again, Keld, for joining, and I'll hand it over to you now.
Thank you very much, Wolf. Great pleasure. Thank you for the presentation. And thank you for the opportunity to tell you about our program Bank in Motion. First of all, I'd like to make a short introduction to our bank. Our bank is located in Copenhagen, Denmark, which is a part of the Scandinavian region that lies in the north of Europe. So now you know where we are. In Denmark, we have about 5 million residents, and our bank is, as I said, located in Copenhagen, but have 20 branches spread out over Denmark, around the big cities, Aarhus, Odense, and Aalborg, where we have approximately 150,000 customers. The customers are primarily private customers, and a part of them is also business customers. To handle the customers, we have 400 employees, and we call ourselves a full-service bank. That means, besides that we can handle the private customers and the business customers, we also have asset management, investment banking, and markets. So we should be able to handle most of bank business in our bank. We have been in business since 1880, and that's about it has evolved during the period, and today that we are 400 employees in the bank. Looking at Bank in Motion, we have to go back to 2008. In 2008, the bank made a profit on zero Danish crowns. So we had quite a problem looking at the financial crisis. So the board decided that we need to do something else. So they constructed a new mission, a new vision for the bank, and they hired a new CEO and gave him a chance to come up with a plan, a strategy for what to do. And the goals for him in the strategy was that we should go from the profit 0 to a profit of 100 million Danish crowns. While we were working with that, we should also become the best bank in Denmark for the customers, and we should be among the 25 best firms in Denmark for the employees. So it was quite a task that we were looking at. And working with the strategy, working with the action plans, we decided that if we didn't do anything, we were really afraid that the employees couldn't handle it. So we had to do something to make them robust, to make them able to do the task. So that's when we started off with the thought of the program, the Bank in Motion. And it is an emerging strategy that we set up here. We want it to be a sustainable process because if you look at the idea about Bank in Motion, it is about a bank who is going to move forward, to make a better profit, to become a better business on the run, but also together with the employees. So we should take the employees with us and also make them better, give them the tools to take care of themselves and be able to handle this new situation, the new tasks, and so on. So that's what we actually meant with the Bank in Motion idea, that it should be a sustainable process where both were working together. So when we started out, we set up some goals to make sure that we actually accomplished what we wanted to do with the Bank in Motion. And first and foremost, the job was to increase the productivity and the efficiency. If we should make a profit of 100 million Danish crowns in 2013, we needed to do more, we needed to work harder, and we needed to work smarter. So we, for instance, the financial advisors at this point had 0.6 meeting a day, and if we should accomplish the goal, they needed to have at least 2 meetings a day, every financial advisor. So the productivity should really go up. So we set a goal about that we should increase the productivity with 10% per employee. We also set a goal up for increase in well-being, because we believe that happy people makes other people happy, and happy people find together good solutions. So we needed to find a way to make people motivated and be able to take care of themselves, take care of each other, and to create a high job satisfaction with the tasks that they were doing, but also with the tasks that they were doing together, and working also together with the customers. One thing that we had a look at was the absenteeism. We wanted people to be so motivated that they would come to job every day with their hands above the head, being very motivated about working. Of course, we don't want people to come to work if they're sick, but we wanted people to be motivated and work with them. I'll come back to that about the sickness later in the presentation. One of the things that we did was we have an annual health check of every employee in the bank, and we set up some goals for reduction in the average BMI, reduction in the average cholesterol, we've set up goals to increase the average physical fitness, because we believe that if you're in good shape, if you feel well and you are aware of how much you need to sleep, what you need to eat, and be in motion, I think that you have more power to work and to be happy. So we actually wanted to, by this program, increase the productivity and also create physically and mentally robust employees that were able to handle the tasks. As I mentioned earlier, one of the goals was that we should be among the 25 best firms in Denmark in total. So we joined up with the program Great Place to Work, where the participants also have the same idea, that they want to create a good working environment, have high job satisfaction, and so on. So it's quite a tough game to be in, and also to come in top 25. So that was some of the goals that we put up. The strategy for making this happen was that we wanted all our leaders to be a part of it, that they should be the ambassadors. We should give them so much knowledge that they were able to help the employees to achieve their individual goals. We wanted all the employees to have the knowledge about what they could do to make it better for themselves, to take care of themselves, and be responsible for themselves and for the job that they were doing. So there was some kind of education in what should you do about yourself, what does it mean to be in good physical fitness, how do you become robust, what are your coping strategies, and so on. And also at the management level, we worked with the management to be able to facilitate and help the employees achieving the goals. We wanted this to be a part of the business, so we didn't put it out to the working environment committee to be responsible for this process. We wanted to have it inside the business, and that's the reason why we made the human resource department responsible for the process, and that it was actually them who had to report back to the senior level how it was working and what things they were putting into action to accomplish. One of the things that I think is very, very important in this process was the involvement of the senior management level and also the CEO and also the board. And the board was the one who had put up the goals. So the CEO was very interested in things should happen and that we should accomplish the goals on this side. So having the senior management, having the board's interest is a good thing about also getting the management involved and actually work together with it. So that it is a part of the business strategy. If you put the HR thing and the working environment into the business strategy, you can actually make money out of it, and that's quite interesting way to go to it. And one thing that is very good for this program also is that it is driven by the managers and the employees, so that everybody can see that it actually works, and we get to accomplish some of the goals, and we actually get better, all of us. If we look at what has influence on the well-being, we have decided that there are three main factors that influences and helps on the productivity, the efficiency, the personal energy, and the absence. And one of the things that I think is very important is leadership. I think that leadership is the one thing that has most that is most important about achieving what you want to do. So we have worked a lot around the leadership, making them understand what we need to do and how they can help and make people motivated and make sure that that they are able to contribute contribute, and also not just at the work, but also in the spare time and in the leisure time, and being together with family, giving something back to the community, working with that idea as well. And then there's the health, where we have surveys, we have the individual health check, we have courses and programs that help people working with health and be able to detect what to do, how much should I sleep, and so on. So we have pumped up the knowledge in every employee in the bank. And the last thing is the work environment, and a lot of it is about the psychosocial part, that people should help each other, be aware of dialogue, and try to solve problems together, and take responsibility about the problems. That is not just something that the firm should make, or something that the leader should take action in. No, I'm a part of it. I need to help here. So, and also have a look at how do we make sure that no one gets bullied. How do we make sure that everyone has a vote and a voice in working with the work environment. And then there, of course, is also the things about making sure that the tables and the chairs and so on are working, and everybody is having the opportunity to have a good workplace. So while we were working with, while we are working with the bank in motion, we have decided that there's some levels that we need to work on. We need to work on the organizational level. We need to work on the management level, the group level, and the individual level. And if we start out with the management level and the organizational level, we have decided that all our leadership development, all our programs about leadership, also should involve the bank in motion process to make sure that people know how to facilitate, how to coach. For instance, all our employees, all our leaders are certified coaches. And we have introduced an extra module in this coaching program that goes about lifestyle coaching. So when the individual comes back from the annual health check with the individual goal setting about what do I need to accomplish the next year, what are my goals, so is the leaders able to go into that coaching area and help the individual employee to accomplish the goal and set up a plan for how to do it, and also to be sure to help not just that day, but going along with the plan. We have also introduced some kind of team tools to the group. I have one with me today that I will show you how it works, but it's also about going into the actual team and talk with them about what are your problems, what can we do, what can we develop together with you that can make your team work even better as we go along. We don't believe in needle-stick operations, and by needle-stick operation do I mean that, for instance, if you have a consultant coming to the firm talking about mindfulness for an hour or two and then go again, I don't believe that anyone will go back to the home and be mindful. We need to use more time to pump up the knowledge so that people actually can work with it. And the listen win sequence that you can see on the slide here is a program that goes on for 4 months, and the participants meet once a week, and they put up a goal to how much do I need to lay off of my body weight, and then they work with it together with experts. For instance, there can come a chef working together with them to make a dinner and talk about what is good, what is low fat and low calorie, and how do I make it taste well. And there will also be a dietist helping at that particular meeting. The next time, for instance, there come a trainer who goes together with the team to the gym and helps them to put up the machines and make them work, and then 14 days later they'll meet there again and work with it again. So you have to go deep into the thing to help the individual to actually go on with it. And we can see that the participants here actually lose some pounds, and most of them are successful about their goals. We have also introduced what we call well-being conversations, and that means that if you are away from the job more than 3 days in a row, then you have a conversation together with your team leader about what was that about. And if it's about a cold or you have the flu or something like that, well, that can happen to everyone, so that's okay. But if it's something about the group, the team, the leader, the organization, we have to have a conversation about how can we solve that problem. Do we need to have others to help us to set it in? Because we want people to be happy. We want them to work together. Again, we believe in happy people makes other people happy, and together they will make good solutions. So that's what well-being conversation is all about. That we have to talk about the problems and help each other if there is one. Again, on the organizational level, we have established, for instance, running club, bicycling clubs, and so on, that you can participate in together with the colleagues and have fun together with your colleagues. The Good Life is a very special program that we have put up, and I'll come back to that a little later. So in all, we think that best on all levels, work with the program, make it a part of the job, make it a part of the team, make it a part of the way that the organization works will help us achieve the goals that we have set up. Now, this is one of the team tools that I have taken with me, and we call it the Wellbeing Compass. Every once a year, we make this survey about the well-being in the bank, and afterwards, we sit together some of the consultants in the HR department and looks at what kind of questions does this survey show us? What do we need to work with in the next year? And then they take around 20 questions out from the survey and put them into small cards and write them down. And I can see on this slide, the question is in Danish, so I don't believe that so many of you actually knows what stands. But the idea is that we have these 20 questions, and the team sits around the table, take all the 20 cards, and look at the questions, and they decide what 5 do we need to work with. And it could be like this: I get the right, what is it then in English? People, the leader is good at looking at me and helping me. I get the social backup from my colleagues and the leader that I need. In our department, we have a good working climate and high confidence among each other, and so on. That could be some of the cards that you put in, and then you put on the card on the well-being compass, and you put in the red dot. Where do we need to be on this point? And then we have a chat around the table saying, where are we actually today? And you put in the green dot. And if there's a gap between the green dot and the red dot, you have to make an action plan. An action plan that means that what should we do about it, who is going to lead the process, what are the goals about it, and when do we evaluate if we actually are coming into trouble with the goals. So that's the idea about this, and the trick is that they talk about all the 20 cards. So actually we have the discussion and the conversation around the table about all the problems that could be and we just prioritize to work with these 5 things. And I keep saying 5, and there are 6 cards on the table, but the top one is the one, all in all, I'm very happy to go to my work. And you also have to put in a red dot and a green dot there, because I mean that's the most important part of it, is that you're happy when you go to work, that you're motivated. So they also always have to have a conversation about the happiness for working in the department and bank. We do this 2 times a year. We do it in May, just after the survey, and then again in October, November, where we put the same cards up and we have a discussion. How have we accomplished our goals? How was the process? Do we need to make a new action plan, or is everything very good? And they are hanging around in the department. So when the leader arrives and have a look, he can also have a conversation with the leader about how is it working, what are you doing about this, and so on. So it has a lot of recognition in the bank. This very simple tool about creating well-being. We have also put up this program that we call The Good Life for You, chosen by you. And it is a program that goes on for the individual, and how can we establish a good life for you. It's a program where it takes approximately a month to be in it, with 2 training days, and it starts up with the individual health check that everybody is having. After the individual health check, you have to make an energy lock for the working days, for 14 days. What was a good day? What was a bad day? How come that you were motivated today, and what was it that was demotivating? What made you go home with the head above the head, being energized by going to work, and so on? And then you come to the first training day, and we work with the energy lock and looks at what can we do that makes your working life very nice. It could be, we know that you can become 200% better at what you're good at, and you can only become 50% better at what you are not that good at. So in my head, we should work with the things that you can become 200% better at. And we make a plan about what is it and how to work with it, and then the participant can take this plan with him back to his leader, and they can have a conversation about how can we set this into action so that we can actually get the best out of you and take the things that you're not that good at and give it to someone else who is very good at that. So being able to share the assignments around the employees in the department. After that day, they come home and have a new assignment, now not just about the job, but about the whole life. What makes you happy? What are your happy moments? What do you want to achieve in life? What is good for you? What is not that good for you, and so on. So you have 14 days to work with that, looking back at the day every day, making some notes about how was the day, what was the things that actually went very well, and vice versa. And then you go to the second training day. On the second training day, we work with this energy lock and comes up with some ideas about what should you go and do to have a really good life. We have had some people going home with a plan about going home to make a vision day together with the family, find out what are we going to, what are the vision for our family. Some have had to go home to their spouse and have a conversation about what are the goals for us, what do we want to accomplish, and what are you doing for the time being, and what am I doing for the time being, and make a balance between the things that we're doing, so that both of us can have a nice life. Just to make sure that these plans are solid and robust, we have a final conversation one-on-one with our business psychologist for each participant, where they can talk about the plan, and they can also talk about if there's been something in the program that they need to have a deeper look into together with a psychologist. So that is basically the program. And looking back at it, the participants, after a year, we can see that 50% of the participants have made changes in their habits, and they are lasting. So something is actually working in this program, and that is, of course, very nice. So if you look at the program Bank in Motion, it's working like this since 2009, that we start up with a survey with the individual health check and see what kind of problems can there be, what should we work with, and then we make a plan for that. We make the well-being compass, we make individual things and implement it in the organization. After a while, we assess and see how is it working. Is it the right thing that we're doing? Should we do something different? We improve it, and then again we make this survey and the individual health check, and it goes on year after year. And how does it work? What are the results of all this work? I'll just take you through some of them. As I mentioned earlier, in 2008, we didn't earn any money. The surplus was 0. And in 2013, the goal was that we should earn at least 100 million Danish crowns. And as you can see, in 2012, we actually managed to earn the 100 million Danish crowns. So, and it kept going up, so it was sustainable, the efforts that we have done. So that was quite nice. One of the main goals in the Bank in Motion program was that we needed to put up the productivity. And as you can see, it went up. It has went up 5%. And if we calculate on that, it's approximately 73,000 Danish crowns per employee every year that this increase in productivity is giving, and that's about $10,000 US. If we look at the absenteeism, the number of annual sick days per employee, in 2008 we had 8 days per employee per day that were per year that were sick. Today, in 2014, it was 3.9. So we have taken 50% off of the number of annual sick days per employee. So I think that's a part of it, a part of this about the motivation, about the happiness, and about the physical fitness and the mentally robust thing that we can see in this figure. Changing in habits, you can see here that we have quite a good increase in percentage of employees who exercise more than 30 minutes a day. So people are actually taking care of themselves. One of the other goals back in 2009 was that we should have a customer satisfaction that should be the best in Denmark. In 2015, we became number 2 in the annual survey in the whole of Denmark. So we are almost there. The Great Place to Work survey was the one we used to see if we could become among the 25 best firms in Denmark. We started out in 2009 as number 69. We did a lot of efforts and worked with the Bank in Motion program, as I've been telling you. So we actually wanted to looking forward to the 2010 survey, but as you can see, we went up. We became number 71, and I had a lot of conversation with the CEO. What was wrong? But what we need to keep in mind here is that this was not just a business thing. This was a cultural thing. We worked with. So I think it's a part of the resistance against the changes that we can see in 2010. And from 2011, we became among the 25 best companies in Denmark, and continued until 2013. And then we stopped using the Great Place to Work survey, because if you do the same survey every year, you will just start acting like the questions, and perhaps you will fail on other points. So we have another survey now where we monitor the employee satisfaction, and in 2015, 93% of our employees were satisfied or very satisfied with going to work in Lan Spar, and that is one of the things that are so important in our business about achieving the goals. Is the employees satisfied, very satisfied, and that they are really motivated to do the job. As Wolf said, we were so good that we could go to Florianopolis in Brazil and go into the competition about winning the Healthy Workplaces award. Before that, I was in Riga, in Latvia, receiving the European Agency for Safety and Health at Work Good Practice Award, given by the European Union for working with the psychosocial and the stress management. So we have also been been awarded in Europe, and also in Denmark, where we got the Working Environment Award in 2013. So I think that's about what I want to say about Bank in Motion, and I do hope that you have questions about it. I'll be happy to take some of them now.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Heather, let me just add one thing. Heather's going to help us with the questions, but first of all, I wanted to thank you, Keld, for the great presentation, enlightening presentation. And I have a burning question which I really need to get rid of. so I'm just going to take the liberty to ask the first one, and then Heather will help us. Keld, very often there is a perception that it's very difficult to run or implement a health and well-being program in a small and medium-sized enterprise. You know, main reason very often is given there's a lack of resources and so on. What do you think? I mean, do you think it's a disadvantage or maybe even advantage in your experience working in a smaller organization, and then with regard to health and well-being?
That's a difficult question. I think that the most important thing about doing this, even though you're in a small or a medium or a large organization, is that you have to look at it as an investment. You have to think it into a business plan and show the CFO and the CEO that this is actually an investment that will make money. So if you go into it that way, I think it is much more easy to make it happen, and be sure that you put up some goals that everyone could see that it actually means something, and that you can both increase the well-being and the health together with the company. I think that's an important part of it.
Great point. Yeah, totally agree. Heather, I'll hand it over to you. Sorry to cut you off before.
No problem at all. Just to remind everyone, there are two ways that you can ask questions. You can just type your question in the toolbar, or you can hit the hand icon, and we can unmute your phone line so that you can ask a question. We have several that have come in. The first one is, how is the Good Life program funded? Is it funded all by the bank or partially by the employee? And what sort of cost per employee is associated with it?
So, the program is totally funded by the bank, and looking at the whole program, we use around $300 per person a year. So just looking at the annual sick days per day, if you can put that down in that area where we are today, I think that is paying for the program alone.
The next question we have from Annette: how many people support the running of the program internally? Are there full-time support staff, or is it all integrated within existing roles?
The program is being run by the HR department, primarily by 2 consultants who work with it together with the other jobs that they have. And then we have some consultants from other companies who are advising and helping with the program. For instance, the health check, we can't do that all by ourselves. We need to have nurses and doctors to help us about that one. And also, when we do the survey, we work together with consultants. So there are some people inside the HR department that are working with it, and they are working together with external consultants about having this working.
Mary Ellen has a question about the Wellbeing Compass. Can you tell them what the other 5 cards on the Wellbeing Compass are?
Yeah, sure. I'll just go back to it just a minute. On this one, in the top, it is, all in all, I'm very happy about my work. Number 2 is about how our working station working. Are they optimal? The third one is there a balance between my work, my tasks, and the time that I have to make them happen? In the bottom, you have, in our department, are we working good together, and we have a high confidence in each other? And then the next one is, I have the social backup from my colleagues and leader that I need. And the last one is, I'll get the right recognition for my work. And these statements are from the survey that we do every year. So there's 14 other cards, 14 other statements that they can choose among putting on the cardboard, but they only put 5 in. And I don't have the other cardboard, so I can't tell you what the other statements are.
If I may emphasize, these are all psychosocial factors which are often not regarded in many traditional wellness programs, especially not in the US. At least I think so. So I think it's really interesting that you have them here as part of your overall Bank in Motion program, and I think very necessary and very important. I think nowadays increasingly you see these items or factors in engagement surveys and or even employee surveys, employee satisfaction surveys, which a lot of companies run or offer, especially the larger ones, and now gradually linking those to the health of their employees, which I think is highly interesting. So I think we're slowly getting there, but it's very, very good.
I think that it's very important that you both work with the physical thing and you also work with the mental thing. That you need to, if you want people to become robust and able to do things, you have to look at them as whole persons, and that means both the head and the body, so to say. So you need to have both things in work when you do it. And of course, it's more difficult to work with the psychosocial thing, but it's not impossible. You just have to take one step at a time and work with it and become better every day.
Excellent. Yeah.
The next question then, what percentage of employee time was spent in wellness-related activities or education at work during the program?
It's difficult to say. Most of it is actually on-the-job training where we work together with each other and have, for instance, looking at the well-being compass, you have a task to do there and work with it. And then, of course, we have a lot of talks about it. One of the things that we realized in the first surveys was the CEO's recognition, the CEOs coming out to the employees, telling them the meaning about what we were doing and telling them about the purpose. So a lot of this is about meaning making and come out and tell what are we doing, why are we doing it, so everybody knows what to do and what to work with. That's a part of being happy, that's a part of being motivated, and that is something that you do in the job every day. And also being sure that the team leader or the team leader's leader knows the meaning and the purpose and talks about it all the time. Because I think one of the main factors about being unhappy is that you don't know what and why you're doing the things that you do. When you go into the bank, you should know what are my tasks, what makes me successful, what makes the bank successful overall. So it's a lot about knowing what to do and what to work with in this process. I hope that it answered the question.
Were there any outcomes that surprised you or your leadership, or things that you didn't expect after the program was fully implemented?
Yeah, of course there was. There's been a lot of things, and one of the things that actually surprised me was the part about the communication and the information. Of course, theoretically, I knew that we should be there and we should tell them about the purpose and the meaning about the program and the strategy and the mission and the vision. But the size of it, how much we needed to do it was quite interesting and surprising, that we thought that we had actually talked a lot about it, have a lot of conversation, but that wasn't enough. We needed to work with it all the time. And one of the things that we also have introduced in this is what we call the S-Day, which is an afternoon where we invite all our employees in the departments to work with the strategy locally, to know what can I do in my department about this part of the strategy. This year we have had a lot of pressure on the theme customer satisfaction, and have developed a board game where every employees in the bank sits around the table together with the colleagues in the team, working locally with what can I do about making customers more satisfied. And that's not just the people in the branches who meet the customers every day, but also the employees who works in the financial area, in human resources, in marketing, in IT. So everybody have the same picture of where do we want to go, what can I do to help the customer being satisfied, to help my colleague to make the customer satisfied. And I think the conversation here is very, very important, and the part that surprised me a little, that it should be so heavy, understated, that we should work with this information communication part of thing. Another thing that we did was that we made this program where an employee put up a goal. It could be about walking for 20 minutes every day, or running 5 kilometers or so on, and they had this coach that called them up once or twice a week and talked with them, how is it going, are you on track, or if not, what to do, what are your plans to get on, and so on. And that was a total failure didn't work at all. So we have tried things that works, like the Good Life, for instance, and we have done other things like this online coaching that didn't work at all. So we have to put in new things and work with it all the time. And that is also surprisingly sometimes that we think, oh, this is a brand good idea, but it doesn't work.
The next question then is, you discussed the well-being conversation with employees that have been away from work for 3 or more days. Does the manager have that conversation with them or someone from the HR department?
That is the team leader or the manager that takes that conversation. And I think it's very important that it is the team leader, because this is not a conversation that where you lift up a finger and say, oh, you have to come to work every day, and I don't believe that you were that sick that you couldn't come to work. It's a conversation who goes about the well-being and making sure that everything is in order. So we don't want to escalate the conversation. We want it to be on the team level so that everybody can be in it and take actions on the things. Of course, if there is a larger problem, the team leader can go to the HR department and talk with the HR partner about what to do, how can we work with this problem. Do we need to have some kind of education or some kind of team process or something like that? But what I can see is that the well-being conversation is fully integrated, and the team leader is able to facilitate the conversation, and the team members are happy about being recognized. And when they have the conversation, they usually find a good solution, and very often it is just a code or something that makes you sick for a few days and then you're back on track.
We have one last question. This question is from Annette. She said, it sounds like the program has facilitated a complete shift in cultural change. Did you have pushback or resistance from staff and managers initially?
Yeah, I think there was some resistance in the program, and as I said on the slide about the Great Place to Work survey, that some of the employees didn't like the change, because the change was also about changing the business culture. To start up in 2008, the mission and vision was that we should be the bank in Denmark that made sure that everybody could get fair prices in the banking sector. And we didn't earn any money on that vision and that strategy. So when we changed the strategy, we also changed the mission about being a personal bank. and that we should set high standards for what we were doing every day. And of course, there were some employees who didn't like this cultural change shift and worked not with it. And during this process, some of them have left the bank, and I think that's okay. That's a part of the good life, that you actually look at what you're doing and make sure you do what you want to do, and not just come to work because you earn money there, but that you're actually motivated and you can see the purpose and the meaning about what you're doing, and you want to be a part of it and work with it. Otherwise, I think that both for the company and especially for yourself, you should do something else. And that's the program The Good Life is about, that you should look at yourself and see if you're doing what you really want to do, and be happy about it. Because if not, you have to make a change.
Thank you very much. Wolf, those are all of the questions that have been submitted.
Great. So again, big thanks. Well, first of all, to all of you for joining, and Keld for joining us from Copenhagen today, and for sharing your success story. So Heather, are there any last announcements, or?
None at this point, unless you or Keld have anything last that you'd like to share.
I don't have anything. I'll just say thank you again for the opportunity to tell you about our program, and thank you very much for the very good questions.
Yeah, really good. Excellent. Thanks, everybody, and have a good rest of your day. And thanks, Heather. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.